One of the challenges for women today in the dating circle is they become so independent. That's testosterone producing, which is nothing wrong with that. It's power, it's security, and all that. But you're not depending on anybody. And if you're not depending on someone for something of value and meaning for you, you don't make enough estrogen to be attractive to the opposite sex. So when you're this competent, capable woman, what's going on inside of a man's mind? He's either thinking, oh, she's too good for me, she'll look down on me, which is true. So many women say, where are the men? And I say, the guys wearing the blue collar shirts. I want a guy who's educated like me. Well, already, you see, women always, and they still do to a great extent, they marry up. There's got to be something they look up to the man for. Now, why would that be? And of course, the simple thing is you tell a high school girl, if you want boys, don't be smarter than them. And so that sounds like, because he has to feel in some way, I have something of value to offer you. And now in this world today where women make 30% more than men for the same job, and that's if they're educated, and they're making all this money, a man thinks, why does she need me? So he doesn't have his confidence to pursue her. And he's not interested in her. So it's either he doesn't have confidence to pursue her, or he has no interest, because why would I be interested in a woman who doesn't need me? Because if let's say you're a poor woman and just that you need money, all he has to do is drive a nice car and you're like, oh, maybe he'll marry me, Ooh, that's great. But once she's making more money, she doesn't need him for that. So what does a woman need a man for? That's the big thing. So in dating, a woman has to become aware that I'm lonely and I'm unhappy being lonely and I need love and I need someone to talk to. I need companionship. I need someone to ravish me. I need someone to make love to me. I see it in the movies, but I want it for me. I can see it there. I can go, yes, that's me. I want that. I want a man who sweep me off my feet. I want a man who'll be interested in me, turned on to me, but patient, knows how to make love. Well, no men know how to do that. my father never knew how to do that. Yet my mother was happy. Why was she happy? Because her dream was 7 children. She got 7 children. I don't know if she expected 6 boys, but she was a very happy woman because my father made enough money without being stressed out to live in a nice middle-class neighborhood where you didn't worry about money. Money was not an issue. I grew up never thinking about money. I didn't feel like I got hand-me-downs. I got my brother's bicycle, but it wasn't like we were poor or anything and we weren't rich. So it wasn't a thought. So I'm living in that place. My mother's very happy because her dream has come true. My dad goes to work. He comes home. He doesn't do any of the romantic things, but they had 7 children. So they were having sex.
Something happened.
Something was happening. We did listen at the door and we'd hear something happening. But there was nothing to fight about or argue about. There was a lot of love and support there because the primary need that my mother had was a man who didn't get angry with her, a man who worked hard, and a man who was the policeman to help manage these boys, because she could just say, if you don't listen to me, I'll tell your father. And he'd come home and he'd spank you and all that. So we listened to her so we didn't get spanked by dad. And so that was sort of the ideal of the old male-female relationship, which goes on still today in all indigenous tribes, okay? And I'll just say something about the indigenous tribes that I've lived in the Amazon or in Africa. What you'll see, at least particularly spending the night and sleeping in the village with the Amazon people, the women are having orgasms every night, okay, every night. And there's no romantic gestures that men are doing. Men just go face the dirty, dangerous, and difficult, and the women are really grateful for that. And then those men come home, and they're very happy because their wives are turned on to them. Sex is, you want to know what goes on inside of a man? In real estate, it's location, location, location. When it comes to a man's brain, it's sex, sex, sex. And we don't want to say this. It's not polite to say or to think, but it's always going on inside of men. And there's studies that show it, at least for 20-year-old and the 20s men. they have these tests. How often are you thinking about sex? And it's every minute they think about sex. It could be looking at that girl's skirt. It could be looking at that guy driving a sports car, thinking he probably has a good girlfriend. Men are thinking about sex all the time. Who's getting it? Who's not getting it? How could I get it? Why can't I get it? It's always going on. Why is that? Because we as men, males, mature faster in the sexual arena. A lot of people don't see that as maturity, but actually, as a relationship expert, what I know to be the case is sex is one of the most important things to keep a couple together. It's not the only thing. The other thing is love and communication and cooperation and caring, all of that stuff. Well, that's the maturity that girls have, women have. They have the great awareness of the importance of relationship for happiness in life. And unfortunately, that's being lost by a lot of women, which is to make money more important than love. And men will always make money more important unless they have in a relationship where a woman gives him love. But when men don't get love from a woman, they're stuck over in sex land and money land, and not bad places, but they don't make you fulfilled if you don't also have love. And we look to, whether we know it or not as men, we depend upon, primarily for women, to value love and make love a priority. So in my marriage with Bonnie, after I wrote Men Are From Mars, my gosh, opportunities were everywhere. And
Yeah.
I could have made so much more money. I mean, I could go to China and give a talk. I get paid $100,000 for a talk, but I had to fly to China
Wow.
to do it, and then come back home, and on that whole journey. It wouldn't be just one talk, or maybe a couple of day seminar, and they pay me huge money. So, and this was everywhere. I go to Russia, I go to Turkey, I go, England, anywhere in the world I could go and make huge amounts of money. And she said, honey, we have plenty of money. I need you home. You can go, I don't want you to stay home all the time. I know when we got married, I told her, my job is I teach classes, so I'm going to be away. When in the beginning, I was away for 3 weekends a month to pay for the family, to do these 3-day classes. So we ended up, once I was more successful, never to be gone in a month more than 9 days. And that was because she required it. She says, honey, if I don't get you that much time, then you're going to have this woman who's all independent and not in love with you. I need something from you in order to feel so much love for you. I can't just have money. Money's not going to do it. If we were poor, money might do it. but once we had this lifestyle and a bank account and so forth, everything changes. And so what changes is, what do you need your partner for? And so this is a whole key for women to understand. If a woman doesn't know inside herself, why do I need a man, and truly value that and feel it, a man's not going to be attracted to her. And now this is a scary thing for women, because particularly independent women, because they've had the experience of being like a pendulum. You go over to your masculine side, which is your independent side, and like a pendulum, you do swing back over here to your female side. But if you go way to your masculine, then you swing way over to the other female side. And after you get to a point where you're having sex in a relationship, for many of these women, they feel extreme neediness. Okay, so it's no longer just I need you. It's I need more than you're giving me. An example would be, one of my clients from Germany, and he has a hot girlfriend in Brazil. Okay, and so they're having sex, and he says, sex is great, but I had to end the relationship, and I need your help. Maybe we can save it. And actually, they did get back together after I gave him a little advice. But part of this was, so I said, so what's the problem? He says, well, we spend all this time together and we have great sex, and then I need to do other things. And I say to her, I want to go fishing with my friends. And she says, oh, but if you go fishing with your friends for the weekend, I'll miss you, and that hurts. Do you want to hurt me?
Oh.
Do you want to hurt me? I just want to go do that. But in her mind, because there's this lack of awareness, is that when you're needing someone for more than they can give you or should be giving you, it's the worst thing for a man. Then you become needy. And when you're needy, he feels controlled. And she doesn't realize that she's controlling. She doesn't feel she's controlling. She's just telling how she feels.